If you're sitting at home and wondering, is this ideal for a snowball fight? Here's a good test, so we'll take a look at it. Okay, so it's still a little bit dusty, so maybe not snowball weather just yet, but go ahead and get rid of that.
More kitchen appliances, shampoo, soaps, medication, all things that were thrown all over the property.
Well, since public schools are federally funded through taxpayer dollars, the crime escalated to financial fraud perpetrated against the U.S. government. A federal district court judge will determine the sentences after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors.
He had to be removed right here from the cab of the truck, and you can see that it is absolutely demolished. There are parts of it just spewed all over the highway.
Earlier this month, President Donald Trump implemented a 25% tariff on imported cars. By May 3rd, an additional 25% tariff goes into effect on foreign auto parts themselves. Experts say this could make your next trip to the dealership more expensive.
You only allowed 7 points. We saw a lot of sacks in the first half. What do you think it's going to feel like when you look back on this 15 years from now?
Okay, I can get this thing turned around.
I like what you're doing.
My girl's earrings. Ellie?
I got a little ghost going on over here. I thought about doing a last minute pivot to like a pack band track, and then I decided that I might not be able to.
Well, we have yellow.
Either. Right before we came out on air yesterday from sports, I said, this is going to be Dennis Allen's last day. Watch it. And I should have documented it because no less than 2 hours later, he was out the door.
This 1994 Toyota is all that they have left. All of this property was once their home. This car they filled with Steve, Haley, and their 3 dogs. You can see the damage here on the shattered windshield. The playoffs went very well for you, and now you're headed to state. What is, the locker room talk going to look like? Mississippi is one of 10 states in the country where you don't have to report if you won the jackpot. However, I'll be sure to let you know if I did. They did have some additional help on the sideline tonight and in practice in former player and NFL free agent C.J. Moore.
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump faced off last night in the first debate ahead of the 2024 election. Trump and Biden touched on former President Trump's legal issues, concerns over Biden's age, former President Trump's willingness to accept the results of the election, and even their golf game. Summer storm season is just ramping up, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency is running out of money. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration now reports that the U.S. has already been hit with 11 extreme disasters so far just this year. Former President Donald Trump has been found guilty of all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in his New York hush money trial. Trump is now the first president in U.S. history to be convicted of a criminal offense, though he is expected to appeal.
Almost 7 decades in the making, Manette Marchman is finally learning more about her birth family. Little did she know she would discover 4 sisters across the country that have been searching for her too.
We didn't even know she existed until about a year and a half ago when our mom, going through her full dementia, comes out of the room and says that you need to find your sister. If we would have known that we had a sister, we would have been looking for her our whole life.
My oldest daughter did an ancestry, and she plugged my name in there, and she got a hit on her email, and the girl on there was one of my sister's daughters. And she texts back that I think my mom has been looking for her sister, and I would like to meet you.
And on January 16th, Teresa, Jana, Tam, and Lena would hear Manette's voice for the very first time.
We spent like 2 hours talking about anything that we could to help her know who we were. We were sharing pictures of all of us and our mother. It felt like we had known each other all these years.
Not wasting a moment making up for lost time, the sisters traveled thousands of miles to Mississippi to meet Manette, granting the wish none of the women ever thought would come true.
Oh God, I feel like I'm dreaming.
Getting to know her, it feels like we've known her all our life. And to me, that is just so amazing. That there's a bond that could not be broken, even though we've had so many years apart. And I love that. And I love you.
The sisters have now met their new nieces and nephews, taken multiple road trips, and formed memories that will last a lifetime.
67 years, that's a long time. you know, to think that you don't have anybody else. And then pop, one day it just, they're there.
I love them so much. They're my whole family now.
I think I'm going to have a wonderful life.